with a poll. You can head over to poll.ev.com/UCR-business AGSM 925. Go ahead and head on over there. And as we get started today, I want to know, what do you think is the most important aspect of your application? What is it? Let's see those responses. SOP. Does that SOP, or does it stand for SOP? Maybe that stands for Statement of Purpose. Very good. Chung knows. So he thinks the statement of purpose is the most important aspect. What else? Let's get some of those responses as everybody is coming into the room. Your recommendation letter.
Wow.
Right. Oh, we got lots of responses up here. Application. Which aspect of the application? Your connections.
Connections.
Your grades, maybe your GPA.
GPA.
Your uniqueness, how you stand out. Maybe establishing yourself as a good candidate. Great. Many people think the letter. Many people think the application itself. So maybe just completing that application, getting it in, filling out the form. Awesome. Wonderful. We have some great responses here. So we're going to keep chatting about this and talking about it as we go today. And again, this is a student-led event. So I'll go ahead and I will pass it on over to Simon to kick us started with our first question.
All right, so welcome everyone, first of all. I just want to say those are all great answers, by the way. But let's dive into some application advice, and we'll start off with where to begin, and I'll pass that on to Chang, and he'll start it off for us.
Guys, well, when it comes to where to begin the application process, I strongly recommend you to visit our official website, thebusiness.ucr.edu. You can literally find all the information you need about the admission process. I mean, for example, information about our program, the guideline and deadlines of the application process, and even contact information related to our admission officer.
Yeah, I'd like to add on. The most difficult step is to begin, right? As Chung was saying, just go to the UCR AGSM website, follow the tabs that will guide you to the actual application portal, and just begin filling out your basic information. I think the hardest part is just starting. Everybody dreads starting. So, once you start, you're going to be miles ahead of anybody who are still debating about whether or not I should continue my further education. So, yeah.
I would say definitely make sure that you look at the important deadlines, because you don't want to miss out on the application deadline. So definitely do that. The sooner that you apply, the more generous scholarship you might receive, and the more chances you have of getting into UCR.
I would also add to that is identify your goals. Applying to a master's program is a big deal. You're going to be spending some money, or however you may do it. But identifying your goals, why you want to do a master's program or an MBA program, and the specialty that you want to go into. Knowing that first can really help you in the application process and just kind of guiding your way through it.
And so on to our next question. So how can you present yourself in a professional way and authentic manner so that you can shine through the application process?
I presented myself in my personal statement by literally storytelling. I'll suggest you to link your extracurriculars and academics with the degree you want to pursue. So your story becomes more authentic and yours own. So that way it will turn out genuine.
Thank you, Yukta. If I could add to that, I would say just showcase your personality and highlight what makes you stand out as a person. Definitely mention any unique accomplishments you have or any professional experience you can bring to the table. I would just focus on telling your story and explaining why you want to be a part of AGSM.
Yes, so to elaborate, it is important to remember that we all have unique backgrounds such as prior job experience, volunteer experience, and education. Therefore, it is good to have an up-to-date resume, which is a required portion of the application process. Although work experience is not required, any experience is very valuable, and just remember that the Career Development Center will help you enhance it in the future if needed. This will also give you the opportunity to highlight your unique background and skills for the admissions to get a sense of who you are.
And another important thing I want to add on is also communicate with your admissions advisors. Like there's no one better that knows admissions than your admission advisors. They're going to give you the best advice, how best to make that application represent you. So those grades, what's going to go on there, make sure you reach out to them. And make sure when you reach out to them, you kind of present the best form of yourself that you can, because they're going to be the ones looking at your application itself.
Right. And for the next question is how to get a strong recommendation.
How to get a strong recommendation. I would say first and foremost, I think one has had to already establish meaningful connections with their superiors in academia or in the workforce, right? I believe that, that takes stepping out of your comfort zone. But, if that hasn't happened already, it's never too late to establish meaningful connections with your superiors at work or in academia. So I'd say just start with that, make that a priority, make, creating a bond and relationship with your superiors, again, in academia or in your professional environment. And they can eventually, if that bond is really meaningful, can really help you out in the AGSM process of applying.
I would say I definitely agree with Alex that you should get a letter of recommendation from somebody that you know, somebody that knows you well. That can be either your professor or your employer. And the best part is that AGSM requires only one letter of recommendation, so it's that easy. So just go ahead, get it from somebody who knows you well.
Yeah, I totally agree with Alex and Akanksha, and I just want to remind you that you no need to feel afraid about to ask your supervisor or professor to write a recommendation letter for you. Just ask them in the proper time. For example, ask your supervisor during a lunch break or in a coffee chat, or ask your professor after she or her lecture, and they will be glad to help you.
Yes, to get a strong recommendation, I believe it is important to develop a close relationship with either a professor or an employer to ensure that this individual is able to provide a letter that reveals who you are as a person. Also, it is important to ask beforehand if they're willing to write you this letter. Also, giving them a heads up when the deadline is due is really important to ensure they get it in on time. And also giving like a little summary or details about the program you are applying to is really helpful when they're writing you this letter.
So another aspect that we do want to move on to is assessing the right fit to make sure it's key, kind of thing. How do you determine if you and AGSM are the right fit? Are you going forward with something that's good for you?
Thank you, Hafsa. I'm really glad you asked that. For me, my advice would be just to reach out to the individuals that are already in the program, try to get their insight on what their experiences were like. You could also talk to the AGSM advisors or our recruiting staff. They'll be happy to share with you exactly what AGSM is like, the culture. In my personal experience, it's been like a culture of diversity and inclusion. Everybody tries to help each other because, let's face it, we're all in business school together, and everybody brings their own unique experiences, and everybody adds value to the program. That's what I've experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. And to add to what Edwin's saying, this kind of thing on inclusivity, if I was to describe my experience here at UCR in 3 words, it'd definitely be inclusive, challenging and inspirational. One of the things that, I really learned is you get to meet, and you have so many leadership opportunities here. You get to meet so many people from different cultures. And one of the things is just, being comfortable with the uncomfortable. And it's just personally helped me grow so much in my leadership skills, my communication skills, and things of that nature. So I feel like if that is something that you're interested in, I definitely think that UCR might be the right fit for you.
I know that seeing that which college is right for you is a big challenge. So for me, I would definitely recommend that you talk to some alumni so that they can answer your questions, whatever questions that you have. Additionally, I would also say that you need to check whether the curriculum aligns with your goals. So you know what you need to do and what is your passion. So definitely just go through the curriculum, check if it aligns with your goal, and then definitely talk to some alumni.
As an international student, I decided that the AGSM was the right fit for me because we have diversity here. There's a good number of students from India, China, as well as students from Middle East and Europe. Personally, I have attended the UCR Live Business School information session that was held by Patrick Latimer, who's the Associate Director of the admission, where I could have obtained lots of useful information. So after attending that info session, I felt the AGSM was the right fit for me, and I ended up applying for it.
All right. So let's say the scenario, you turn in your application. This is probably the worst part. You know, you're sitting there with anxiety, but at the end of the day, you just got to trust the process. And so I'm gonna let some of my colleagues speak a little bit about that and just the journey and how that goes.
Yes, I know the wait can be really frustrating, but what you can do during this time is try to stay in contact with your university and also try to distract your mind by gaining more knowledge about the subject you want to pursue in future.
And so another thing that you want to do is you're waiting. So this whole process of just applying, you can use that to kind of make sure that when this isn't just only one process, it's going to be a reoccurring process when you end up graduating for jobs, you know, kind of thing. So make sure that you take everything that you've learned, these interviews, these applications that you've completed, these resumes that you're writing, and that you develop those skills so that when you're done with graduate school, you're ready for that next step. You're ready to start applying for those jobs and you're not learning those skills again. You know, you want to keep repeating them just so you're ready as a candidate, that you stand out from the beginning.
Great points. I also want to say that at this point, you know, you just want to trust the process and wait, you know, be patient. Because like you already turn in your application. Only thing you use is check your email regularly and that you use to apply for the application on a regular basis. Because an important email can end up in a spam folder, or they could have tried to reach you for further questions or simply a good news. So I want to stress that checking your email every day, that is important. And if there's a phone call from a number that's not on your contact list, especially with the 951 area code, just answer the phone.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Kim. I mean, just trust the process, and besides, this process will benefit you. For me, it helps me learn myself better, to learn my weakness and strength and what I'm interested in. And additionally, it will help you. I mean, practice some skills you will need for in the future for apply for a job. You know, I mean, the resume writing and interview skill, communication skills, this process will benefit you.
And so now we're going to move on to some final pieces of advice for students applying.
Yes, so personally, I believe it is important to really believe in yourself and not underestimate your abilities. You're very capable of succeeding throughout this application process. There are tons of resources that allow you to prepare, such as Business Ready that happens every summer. Also, remember, you have a whole community that really wants you to do well through this application process.
Thank you, Stephanie. If I could add one thing, it would be just to get involved early, get involved often. UCR has a lot of different programs, even before the program starts. For example, there's like Summer with UCR. You could do that to kind of get yourself plugged in and build connections before even coming to school. There's the Business Ready program, which is offered by Student Services. So I would just take advantage of anything that they have to offer to kind of prepare you for the year to come.
Just be genuine, don't stress, hang in there, and like your efforts will pay off. So yeah, relax. Best wishes.
And remember to connect with us, connect with our admission officer, and make a plan and be aware about those important deadlines and be yourself.
I would say that
I would suggest that students for applying should stay active and alert. It kind of overlaps with the previous question, but it's a big investment and a big opportunity to prepare yourself in your career. So do what you can to be engaged, and you guys can all shine through the process just like we did and when we're in your shoes.
I would definitely say believe in yourself. You are doing a great job. Additionally, I would say that make use of all the resources that UCR has to offer. They have a lot of resources. There's the Career Development Center that helps you right from the preparing your resume until you get a job. They help you with negotiating your salaries and how to get adapted to the work culture in US. So it is really helpful. So definitely make use of the resources here.
Yes, thank you, Akanksha. And I would honestly add, you know, especially in this day with internet, stay connected through LinkedIn. You know, we have so many resources that you can also use. Connect with us, connect with Tamara, connect with Abigail. It's just definitely something that you know, maybe if you have a question to ask, we're here to answer. There's no such thing as a silly question. You know, I've had my fair share of silly questions. I'm sure everyone here knows. So, yeah.
I'd say just do it. Just apply. It doesn't hurt to apply. You know, a lot of our administrative directors at the AGSM program at UCR will help you with the waiver process. Don't be afraid to ask questions to prominent graduate affiliates, students, or the administrative directors. Email them. And it's just really about just embracing stepping out of your comfort zone. That's all I would say.
And so you've heard so much great advice from current students in the program who have gone through the same application process. And, you know, they've shined through to it today to become the AGSM students that we're all here. And we hope that you're able to go ahead with this process and go ahead and complete it now that you know how to shine. And now we'll pass it on to Tamara Johnson for a quick overview of the process. And then we'll have our Q&A session. So make sure, I've seen that a couple of people have already started using the Q&A function. So keep typing in your questions there so that we can get them answered.
Great, thanks so much, Hafsa, and thank you to our amazing ambassadors. Honestly, what you are hearing tonight or today, this morning, wherever you're located in the world, is truly from a student perspective. So what they're telling you is spot on. As you can tell, they are our students currently. So let me share my screen really quickly. I'm going to give you a very brief overview of our programs. So we are the A. Gary Anderson Graduate School of Management at the University of California, River School. We are a business school that really likes to live out our values, which include integrity, inclusion, innovation, and collaboration. We currently have 3 one-year programs, so our specialty masters, and our 2-year program, our MBA. All of our programs are STEM designated. We currently have approximately 489 students in all of our programs. Now, why do I say this? Because we are considered a small graduate business program. What's nice about that is we are a community. We really are family. I love the fact that our students will go out after class and grab maybe a beer together. They go on the weekends and they go shopping together. It truly is this community that you can rely on. As I said, every single one of our programs are STEM designated. For those of you that are coming international, that means you get up to 3 years of OPT to legally work in the US. Our MBA program, as I said, is a 2-year program, but let me talk quickly about our specialty masters. Our Master of Finance is a 9-month or 15-month program. It was really designed for individuals wanting to go into a finance career. Some of the options include risk management, equities trading, financial analysts. There's so many different opportunities that you can go into. Our Master of Professional Accountancy was created actually with Ernst & Young in order to make sure that if you go out into the accounting profession, that you are successful. It also will give you all the credit hours you need to sit for the CPA exam. What's really nice is we have a 100% historical pass rate, first try. Our MSBA, or Master of Science in Business Analytics, is a brand new program for us this year. We think it's pretty exciting. So it's actually a pretty difficult program to get into. But as you can probably understand, a lot of people went in it right now because every company is looking at analytics, right? So as some of the students already mentioned, we are a very diverse program. As you can see, we are represented by about 36 different countries and territories. And we are very diverse, both ethnicity, gender, undergraduate major as well. Let's talk quickly about our MBA program. It is, as I said, a 2-year program. In that first year, you're taking 9 core business courses. What's nice about this is it's going to create a very strong business foundation for you. Whether you're from an undergraduate major in business or not, this is really going to set you up for success, especially set you up for success in the C-suite. In the second year, you could choose from one of our 6 different areas of concentration. Hopefully in the next year or 2, we will have that 7th concentration. A couple things I just want to briefly mention is there is a required internship for this particular program. And as some of the students already said, we have an amazing career development center that will work directly with you to help you achieve the internship and the job that you do want. Another thing that I think is unique about us is there's a couple things. One, we offer morning, afternoon, evening, or even weekend classes. So if you're better in the morning, then take those morning classes. That would be me. If you like to go to bed early, do not take those evening classes because you will not be done till 10 p.m. And then, as I said, students like to go out and grab that beer afterwards together. So we're talking midnight before you get home. Or if you're a weekend person, you can choose that. Additionally, you can choose either a capstone or thesis. I'm going to be really honest with you. Most people do not choose the thesis. Like, why would you want to write all that if you can just do a project, right? So again, this program is 21 months, 2 academic years, 80 units, again, STEM designated. So this is what our profile looks like. And we are extremely proud of this because it shows our diversity. We are 46% international in the MBA program, 46% women, woo, woo, go females, and 31 months of work experience. Now, as you can see, 45% of our students do come from a business background. As you can see from this graph here, we are extremely diverse in all aspects. And I think that's important because you're going to meet people from all walks of life, from different experiencing, from their work experience, from their undergraduate major. This gives you a great experience for when you go out into the workforce because you are not going to work with everyone exactly like you. So this is great. I would bring something different to the classroom than somebody maybe that's 25. So what are some next steps? The next steps are so easy. Start your online application. All we require is a resume, unofficial transcripts, and degree certificate if you've already graduated. We actually only require 1 letter of recommendation. We only require 1 essay. And if you've already looked at that application and go, but wait, there's a spot for 3 letters of recommendation. You're right, there is, but we only require 1. So if you only have 1 person, you're good to go. Additionally, there is a spot for 2 different essays, and we only require 1. That's statement of purpose. We want to get to know who you are. Tell us a story about you so we get to know you a little bit. So GMAT, GRE, do you have to take it? You do not. We are currently test optional. I will tell you that if you have a strong GMAT or GRE score, it could enhance your profile, but in no way does it prohibit you from either getting admitted or a scholarship. If you are an international student, we do require a TOEFL of 80 or an IELTS of 7. All right, 2 days away for us in the US and probably for a lot of our international students, it's really 1 day away. But good thing for you, you're going on our time. So in 2 days is our priority deadline. Our second round is January 31st. I think it's important to submit when you have the strongest application. However, know the sooner you submit, the more scholarship funds there are now than there are towards the end, June 1st, August 1st. So I think I already saw a question. I'm going to address it super quick. It was, do I get an application fee waiver for attending this? You absolutely can. But there is a caveat to the December 15th round. It typically takes 2 to 3 business days for that fee to get processed. And while we're trying to get them processed quicker, we don't have final say on that. So if you are trying to submit by the prior deadline of December 15th, you would need to have everything done. That means your entire application and all documents uploaded by our morning, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. So we can process that fee for you and hopefully it's done. So just want to let you know that really quickly. A quick snapshot of the staff in our graduate admissions and recruitment office. Of course, you can see myself there and Abby. Right now, these are kind of some of your main points of contact. But other than that, this entire team is there to help you every single step of the way. So take a quick snapshot of this. I'll leave it up for just another second longer. We are happy to meet with you one-on-one, answer any questions you have. And as Hafsa said, please feel free to type your question you have. It can go in either the chat or the Q&A. Probably Q&A is a little better. And our students are going to answer those for you because tonight is all about from the student standpoint. So ambassadors, if you have a question you want to answer, I want you to jump in there and answer that question. All right. So let's start.
All right, we'll go ahead and start with our first question. How serious is UCR about the statement of purpose and personal history essay character limit of 3,000? If not, how much above can we go 3,000 characters?
So I can go ahead and answer that. So when I see word limits, I kind of take that as a time to kind of structure my words so that I'm saying as much as I can in that words, you know, in that amount of words. You don't want to go over, because when these essays come, you don't want to go over those limits. They're going to start docking points off. And so you want to be able to present everything that you are in those 3,000 words. So make sure that's why we say go back and proofread, you know, have someone look it over, see where anything that you're saying is being repeated or anything like that, and have it taken out. As much as you want to read your own essay yourself, you're going to want to keep everything in there. I've done that all the time. And so I'll give it to my sister, I'll give it to a professor, I'll give it to my employee, and just tell them, could you look at this and tell me, what do you see that's redundant, you know, and you want to take those things out because you don't want to go over the limit, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, just use that as a kind of limit for yourself and stay in that word limit itself.
Great advice. Always a good idea to stick to the word limit given. During the admission process, what part does UCR Business School value most? Can you please describe, for example, do you value most GPA or academic background, resume, recommendation letter, statement of purpose, maybe even a TOEFL or IELTS score if it's an international student?
I can take that one. So definitely, as Hafsa mentioned, you definitely need your SOP really good and short. You don't want to extend it. And I think that is the most important part of your application, because it just tells you your whole story in brief. It covers your resume, it covers your whatever academic qualifications you have. So everything in a nutshell. So definitely that is the most important.
Great. And I'll add that we have a holistic admission process. So we do look at all aspects of your application and do try to weigh them equally. Another question, who were the people who wrote your letters of recommendation?
I will answer that question. For me, I got two recommendation letter, but it's not necessary. We only require one. I have worked for 3 years, so I got one recommendation letter from my supervisor, who know me well about what I have done in the workplace, and get my second recommendation letter from my professor who know me well about my academic performance. So I mean, the point is that you ask someone who know your accomplishment or achievement well to write this recommendation letter, and we only require one.
Can I add a second opinion to that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just like Chang said, those are the great resources. Myself, I also got a recommendation letter from my instructor who I took classes during my undergraduate, just because the person knows me very well. And we were just more than student to instructor. We will have basically talk every now and then. And then when I said I'm applying for the AGSM School of Business, she was like, I got you. I'll write the recommendation letter for it. And that's how I did. Also, for my other ambassador students, I also heard that story of an alumni who graduated this program can write a recommendation letter. So that might be something you might want to take consideration as well.
Yeah, certainly. If you know an alumni, they can go ahead and refer you. So you might want to check that out as well. Can someone with a postgraduate diploma in management evening classes apply for the MSBA or the MBA degree program in another specialization? Excuse me. I think I'll pass this one to Tamara.
Yeah, I was just going to unmute myself because I thought I probably should answer this one. Yes, we do not accept duplicate of degrees. So if you have an MBA, you could not apply for an MBA. However, if you have a postgraduate diploma that is different than a degree, keep that in mind. Because some people go, oh, well, I have like this diploma. A diploma is not a degree. So that would not be a duplicate of degree. If you have, let's just say, a master in finance and you want to apply for the master professional accountancy, you can do that. The UC system just does not allow you to apply for a duplicate degree.
Thanks, Tamara. Could a doctoral student write a letter of recommendation for the application?
I can take that question. For me, I actually had that experience. I got really close to a TA during my undergrad. I had him for like 3 quarters. So he was the one that really just knew who I was, and he was able to also tell professors who I was as a person. So he was the one that I would kindly wrote my letter of recommendation for this program. And I used that as well.
Do you have any offline face-to-face alumni events, and can we attend?
Every once in a while we actually do. And typically when we do those, we will put those out on our social media, our LinkedIn. Sometimes they will go out to our listserv. And we actually had a really good one this last year that was for alumni that we invited all prospective students, current students too. Abby actually completely found this person and ran it. It was great. So sometimes we do those because we think it's important, one, for you to be able to network with our alumni, but also kind of take advantage of some of those things that we offer them. So sometimes we do open those up to students and even prospective students.
Great. And I wonder if anybody wants to share as well some of the types of events that current students have that you guys might be experiencing right now.
So I would like to take that question. So you can also, UCR has coffee chats programs. So in that they connect you to various alumni and you can talk to them. So that way you get a one-on-one conversation with them, and any question you have, you can just ask them without worrying about anything and they will honestly answer for you. So definitely go for these coffee chat programs.
Great point, Akanksha. Thanks for throwing that in. If you are admitted, when you accept your admission, we will have a landing page for you to go to and find all of your questions that you might have, go there first, right? And you'll see lots of resources. And there you can sign up for a coffee chat with an alumni. So that's a great point. And at any point when you talk to an admissions advisor, once you are admitted, you can just request to get that link to sign up for those alumni chats as well. So let's go back to the other question. What events are happening right now on campus?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about ambassadors. Want to choose one of the events that we've had for ambassadors. We also, they're going to talk about that, but we also like to have fun stuff, fun times. So somebody else can talk about maybe the event that was held a week ago Sunday, because we have fun.
Yeah,
Or I
jump
can
in
go.
with this
Oh,
one.
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. So we actually do have a lot of events at AGSM, for example. This past Sunday, we actually did a miracle on Main Street. It was basically a volunteer event that a lot of the ambassadors participated in. But it's not all about work. We also have other events just to socialize, have fun. You know, we did go bowling, karaoke. There's at least a dozen a quarter. There's probably a lot more than that, but there's definitely no shortage of things to do.
Yeah, and I want to just add on. So like every quarter, we'll have some sort of big event for the AGSM student. And as director of large events, I'm in charge of just holding and organizing those events along with Karen, the dean's assistant. And so we just go around and create these large events for the students to just come out for an evening, have fun, mingle with students, alumni, staff, faculty, you know, and have fun. There's food, there's dancing, and there's activities, and it's just a good time to just relax and get to know each other in a kind of more relaxed situation other than in classes kind of thing.
Awesome. And that was such a fun event that we just had, our winter gala. Hafsa did an amazing job planning that. Another question, you said that work experience is not required for MBA. How important is it though? Do you have a realistic chance without work experience?
Oh, I would like to answer that question. I actually have many classmates in the same class with me, but they don't have any, work experience. And they did the really excellent work in the class. I have the 211, the financial accounting class. And one of those top performance students, they don't have any work experience, and they're really a UCR, MBA student. So you do have a really realistic chance to, to pass the whole process without working experience.
I agree with what Chang said. So if you have work experience, great. If you don't, it's okay, because the MBA program in UCR is structured in such a way that if you don't have work experience, if you don't have the relevant skills, they have basic starting courses. So you just take those core courses and they will train you well for the work experience, whichever you might have missed out on. So that way you'll be okay if you don't have work experience.
I'd love to add on to that too. Akanksha, that was really great. I think if you don't have any, it's vital that you add like any sort of extracurricular activities that help you stand out. Volunteering or being a leader or founder of a club that you were once a part of. So I think those leadership qualities and previous leadership experiences will help you regardless of the amount of work experience you have. So I really recommend you really soul searching into your past about your past leadership experiences. So that would be very much helpful.
Yeah, I just want to say that if you have a work experience, great. It will work for you, not against for you. But if you don't have any experience, don't worry about it. Just apply. It's not going to decide if you're going to get in or not just because you don't have a work experience.
Yeah, and just to round all of this conversation out, once again, we make decisions on a holistic view of an applicant. So if you don't have any work experience and you have a low GPA, maybe you want to consider taking a GMAT or GRE, or maybe your resume demonstrating your past achievements and your personal statement becomes that much more important. So you need to evaluate for yourself, where do you think you lie on each aspects of these things, and go to our profile and you can see our averages, right? An average is an average, it's in the middle. So there's people on this side of it and there's people on this side of it. So I would like to show you that graph of a distribution of all of the data of students that come in. So just keep all of those things in mind. And we never want to discourage you from submitting that application. Another question. Hello all, thank you for amazing insights. How many full scholarships are available for students? How many scholarships in general? And how many scholarships are also available for international students? Is there any additional process to apply for those?
So I'll go ahead and just answer this. You do not have to apply for our scholarships. We automatically will look at you for a scholarship once you are admitted into the program. As Abby said, we look at you in a very holistic approach, and we do the same thing when we're looking at a scholarship. So I can't say, oh, you're going to get this amount and this amount and then this amount. We look at every individual separately. Additionally, remember that earlier in the process you apply, the more money we have for scholarships. And last but not least, approximately 95% of our current students receive some form of a scholarship. We are one of the most generous business schools in Southern California for scholarships. And it really can be a wide range. We do look at your scores a little heavier than we look at other things, but for the most part, almost everybody gets some form of a scholarship with us.
Wonderful. Can I submit both personal history statement and statement of purpose, or only one?
I'll go ahead and answer this. Only one statement of purpose is supposed to be submitted. You can, if you're prepared, if you're both ready, your personal statement and personal history, you can combine those essays, but I think only one essay is required for the moment. And yeah.
Thanks, Yukta. Tamara mentioned the opportunity to choose classes that fit your schedule, morning, night, etc. Is it easy or difficult to find classes you are interested in offered at the time that fits your schedule?
May I answer this one?
Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Oh, are you sure? You sure? Okay.
Go ahead. I'll go right after you.
I mean, I'd say pretty, I'm gonna leave it some room for you to answer as well, Simon. I'd say it's pretty flexible. Morning, during the middle of the day, and evening, it's pretty flexible. Weekend classes. So the program really is flexible, and it really caters to students to have the option of a diverse selection of classes so that you can balance your academia with potentially furthering your professional experience.
Yeah, just to add on what Alex was saying, like personally, I'm also currently doing an internship as well as being an ambassador, and I still have time to, I mean, the classes themselves are usually, most of my classes are night classes, so they fit in right with my schedule. I've never had a issue with time conflicts when registering for classes compared to undergrad. I mean, like there was a quarter in my undergrad where I had all my classes waitlisted. I haven't had that issue here, so I would just definitely say that I haven't had any issues yet with registering for classes.
And I want to go ahead and add on a point to that. If you do find that a class that you want to take is full or it's not being offered at the time that you want, there's other students that are going to be experiencing that issue. And so the academic advisors, they're really good at hearing out the students' needs. So there's a really good chance that they're going to make that change happen. So not only is that class going to be offered maybe in the evening, they'll be able to put in like an afternoon class, maybe even a morning class. You just have to make sure that you let them know what you need so that they're able to help you as best as they can.
Great. And another question from the same individual was, how many students are working and taking classes at the same time? And I would say about 75 to 100 of our students in our MBA programs are doing that. Most of them enrolled in our professional MBA program. If I submit my application today, but my professor submits the recommendation later than December 15th, would you consider my application for this round? Tamara?
Yes, absolutely. The application submission date is when you submit. If your letter of recommender doesn't get the letter in for the next 2 weeks, we actually send reminders, a couple, and after a while, then we will contact you and say, your letter writer hasn't submitted yet, but your application is still the date you submitted. And I also saw another one, I'll answer this one briefly. It was a question of when did you say you had to submit in order to get the fee waiver? Know that if you submit before the fee waiver, you are paying for that application fee. So just remember that. You would need to send either myself or Abby an email by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for us to be able to try, that is the key word, to process to get it in time for a submission on the 15th. You can submit all the way up to midnight on the 15th. Let me tell you why. We submit and say that we want an application to be paid for you. However, we don't get to actually do it. It goes through our campus. As you can imagine, December 15th, there's quite a few requests, and there's only so many employees that are working on that. So if you want that done, that request has to come to myself or Abby by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And we will check your application. It needs to be completely filled out, as well as all documents must be uploaded, okay?
And Tamara, how soon can someone expect a decision after their submission?
It's a great question. So as you can probably imagine, classes are over for the quarter, and we will be closing down our campus on the 22nd of December. And so from the 22nd until January, I think it's the 3rd, campus is closed and we will not be working. So we will start looking through applications as soon as Thursday. However, no, starting, that means looking to make sure every document is there, signing off on those documents. Going through an application takes a long time. I would assume you should know if everything is in there correctly and we get your letter of recommenders letter in, you should know sometime between the middle and end of January. If you don't hear by then, you can always reach out to Abby or myself and say, hey, what's going on? And it could be that we receive so many applications, we just only have so many employees to go through all of it. And we really try our hardest to get those out in a timely manner.
We'll go ahead and answer 2 more questions tonight. I did see something in the chat. I think we've answered a few of those, but the final thing was, do I submit in a PDF or a Word document? I'm just going to go ahead and answer that. Actually, I recommend that you always submit in a PDF document. Sometimes your fonts, whatever you have, your formatting will get messed up. Never submit anything in a Word document. Always a PDF, especially your resume, okay? I don't see from anyone here on this screen, on this session tonight. And then last question, Simon, which course do you recommend?
Right, this is a good one, but it truly depends on what program you're in. Me personally, I was in the MBA. I'm in the MBA program. So for the first year, you will be doing you will be taking core courses, and then in the second year, you take specialty courses. But what I can say is, I really enjoyed 205 with Professor Rich. It's one of the core courses in information systems, and the internship class MDT 298 with Professor Art Alcaraz. Really good professor, really insightful information about the industry and when he was in it. So as for those are the classes I would recommend, and then you will probably run into them if you do end up taking the MBA program.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here and say, did you see all those heads nodding when he said Professor Rich? Keep that in mind.
Very popular. And you will get support as you select your classes from our student advisors, right? So you need to attend that business ready and then make appointments with your advisors. They have your course roadmap kind of mapped out for you, and then you get to choose when you take something. And there's a little bit of flexibility there. So definitely take advantage of the resources. So we've had some great conversations tonight with our fantastic ambassadors. You can see how much they really did shine in their application. And let me tell you, they did. Keep the conversation going. Don't let it stop here. You can connect with all of our ambassadors, these folks here and more. Go to business.ucr.edu/graduate/ambassadors, and we have our ambassador emails listed on our website. Find the person who might be someone you can connect with, that might be most ideal for you, to give you some recommendations. Maybe that's somebody from your background. Maybe that's someone who went to UCR before, or a different college, or maybe that's someone who's interested in your specific degree that you're interested in. So please take advantage of all of these resources that we've shared with you tonight. And we are so excited to see your applications and to watch you shine. Thanks everybody for joining us.